Under his watch, they pushed infiltrators into Kargil on Indian territory, declared war against India. 527 brave hearts were martyred. They wanted strategic posts in Kargil, and consistently since then they've been pushing terrorism into Kashmir. Musharraf targeted the territorial integrity of India, and we will never forgive and never forget. And that's why a lot of veterans today are angry as a Musharraf fan club is speaking openly, calling him a messenger of peace almost. They're almost calling him a messenger of peace. And let me go across to some of the veterans joining us on the show this evening. Brigadier Umesh Singh Baba, let me introduce them. Brigadier Umesh Singh Baba is joining us, and during the Kargil war, then Colonel Baba commanded the 17th Jat, which was responsible for the capture of the important features of Point 4875. He will be joining us in just a short while. Major General K.K. Sinha is also joining us, a Kargil war veteran, and Major General Dhruv Katoch joining us on the show tonight as well. Let me start with you, Major General K.K. Sinha. Some people calling him a messenger of peace. I wanted to hear what you felt about that.
Niranjan, Jai Hind.
Musharraf
was not a messenger of peace. He was a devil who has got lot of in his hand. You know, those people who has been, innocent people, the people who are brave, who are supposed to be, treated as per the, the conventions of Geneva Convention and all. He is the man, his hands are full of the blood. In the Kargil war, I have seen the atrocities has been created because of him. A man who actually, when the India was, today the people are talking about the peace. If you remember, in the month of, April 1999, when the bus was taken by Bajpayee over there, and we were talking about the peace to bring, and Lahore Declaration was signed. Musharraf, he was the chief. After what they have gone nuclear, when we have gone nuclear 98, he was handpicked by that time by Nawaz Sharif and put into, and he pulled operation plan, which he as a DGMO has actually, he has carved it out and put it on action when there was a peace talk was going on, and no one believed that he will do it. I have seen the atrocity. How can I forget the Saurabh Kalias? I have seen the dead body because I was in that area actually carrying out operation thereafter. We have seen the mutilated dead bodies was handed over. But in spite of all this, number of people who were actually, who were killed, and we have lost so many people just because of Musharraf. He did that thing and stabbed the India in the back when we were talking about the peace. How can he become a messenger of peace, what the people are talking about? How can you pardon? His hands are full. He is not only that. Niranjan, you have to understand, as a DHMO, he is the man who's the architecture of Taliban, what is happening in PACAF region. And Taliban, whether it is the Taliban in Afghanistan, whether the Taliban in Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, and all regimes, he is the architecture of that. He has been talking about the strategic assets and that, what he has did it after the Joel Huck's, the theory of 1,000 cut. He actually did it on ground. So his hands are full. He's a criminal. He is dead. He's as a soldier. I also yesterday said, okay, let me, because this is the Indian way, we can pray for the peace of his soul. But that is as an Indian, not as a soldier. When I think about, Musharraf, he came to India thereafter. And when we were talking about our Agra summit, I was totally that time serving, and we were full of, that time with the anguish. How can it happen? He can't become a Masiha. In his own country, when the people have not allowed to get him, he wanted, when he was on the deathbed, his family wanted. Then in India, how can we say that he is a Messiah, who has God and he is the messenger of peace? am absolutely
Yes.
today is rattled on this.
Yeah. Sir, not just is he the architect of the Kargil war, the parliament attack took place when he was the president, if you remember. And many believe that the IC-814 hijacking took place because of the humiliation in Kargil. Let me go across also to, before I go across to General Katoch, Brigadier Umesh Singh Baba also joining us during the Kargil war. Then Colonel Baba commanded the 17th Jet, which was responsible for the capture of the important features of Point 4875 and also the whaleback in Mashko Valley. Brigadier, if I can come to you, when you hear such comments come in from politicians, as someone who served in Kargil, whose boys fought there, what comes to your mind, sir? Just wanted to hear you.
You see, when some politicians talk about Musharraf as a hero or a person who wanted peace with India, they are absolutely, talking nonsense. I feel, Musharraf was responsible for this Kargil war and the death of so many soldiers, 527 and more than 1,000 injured on our side and equal number injured on Pakistani side. What did he gain after all? After all, he got nothing. They came in and finally they had to vacate each and every post and go back. What was the aim? I mean, he is not a good leader. A person who can't even take the dead bodies of his own soldiers and who refuses to say that they belong to their army. I mean, he is not a leader at all. I mean, I think he has paid for his sins. And as it is, the people say that you reap what you sow. So he is, faced the last moments of his life in Dubai, and he couldn't even come to his own country. Look at the, state of affairs of his life after, he did all this to us. And look at the state of Pakistan now. I think it is all his doing that Pakistan has been brought to this state of affairs with all the militancy and terrorist activities, which he gave lot of propaganda and lot of support.
Yeah, General Katoch, you're part of the India Foundation, sir, and many looking at what you call doves in Indian politics. Why are they so easily in awe of such butchers?
Niranjan, I think it is very strange that people are actually praising Musharraf. Now, this man rightly should have been executed as per the orders of the criminal court in Pakistan. And my only regret that he has died a normal death is that he has not really been brought to justice. Now, for a person of his caliber, the two things which have already been brought up, but I would like to highlight once again. One, the Kargil war, when Prime Minister Vajpayee was actually speaking to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, hundreds of terrorists were already inside Indian territory. And this is from the book from the Pakistani side itself. And this man, he did it, one. The second thing which Brigadier Baba has very rightly brought out, as a leader, not to accept the bodies of your dead soldiers is a shame. And he did not accept the bodies of his own soldiers. Now, there are two very important aspects which come up. One is what happened post-Kargil. He has carried out terrorist attacks. But there is one thing which people perhaps may not be aware of. When he was in exile, he gave an interview to foreign papers. And then they asked him, would you like to take out certain reforms and extend a hand of friendship to India? And his reply was, if we had to be friends with India, why did we become a separate nation? So you see, the question is, for anybody to even think that he was a man of peace, they are being delusional. But there is one more point which I would like to highlight. This is, many of our senior officers were called at various points of time by Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. And he asked them, because that was the time these talks, etc. with Musharraf were going on, can you trust Musharraf? And they told him very categorically, Mr. Prime Minister, Musharraf is a man who cannot be trusted. What Musharraf was looking at post all these events was a very clean withdrawal of India from the Siachen Glacier, and he could claim a victory after that. This man has never had any intentions of having peace with India when he was alive, and now that he is dead, I'm absolutely certain his soul will still not accept a peace with India. So for anybody to even think that he's a man of peace, they are living in a delusional world. And for these people, for them, Pakistan can do no wrong. And this is what hurts me. You see, they question the Indian army on the surgical strikes. They question the Indian Air Force after the Chief of Air Staff had given a statement on Balakot. But they are prepared to accept at word value what Musharraf says. Greater hypocrisy I have not seen. And I think this is a great disrespect to the armed forces of India, to people like Brigadier Bawa, who commanded his battalion in one of the most difficult situations and brought victory to India. And I'm so honored and proud that we are on the same channel together talking of this issue. And there were so many people like him who braved certain deaths simply because one man, and that man was Musharraf, planned it.
Absolutely.
There are many reasons I can go into why he planned it, etc., etc. I won't go into that. But I think it is high time for the Indian nation to tell those politicians, no, we will not agree with you. And if this is going to be your attitude, then there will be consequences to pay when the elections are held.
Sir, in fact, one politician went to the extent of saying that he genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. I mean, what a joke it is to hear such statements from people. And these are people who contest elections and are elected sometimes. I'll thank all three of you gentlemen for joining us. In fact, I want to play out, before you go, I want you to listen into two reactions that came in today. One, Ravi Shankar Prasad responding to these Musharraf fan club members. And secondly, we asked a leader of the Vadra Congress whether they will apologize or what they felt of people within their own party making such comments. Watch how they run from the Republic.